Welcome in and good morning to the Florida League Tournaments.com on Varsity Sports Nation here in Sanford, Florida at historic Sanford Memorial Stadium for day two of the Florida League, Florida Collegiate Summer League High School Invitational, the Classic, 19th year that this tournament has been happening since 2008. Well, if you were with us yesterday, we were supposed to have 4 games here at the stadium, but the rain had other ideas. Those games, those last 3 games, because the only game we got in yesterday was Seminole and St. Cloud. Those other 3 games have been rescheduled and moved to other locations to make up. They've also added an extra game tomorrow, so there'll be 5 games here tomorrow instead of 4. But other than that, everything has been moving pretty smooth. Huge shout out to the crews here at the stadium to get this field ready for our 10:30 slate this morning. But in other news, we've got a baseball game taking on each other in the white pants and goldish yellow jerseys is Martin County. They're the Tigers out of Stuart, Florida. And in the all dark blue jerseys with black numbers is Deltona, and they are the Wolves coming to us from Deltona, Florida. Both teams come in with 10 wins on the season. Deltona 10-4 on the year. Their last game was 4 days ago against St. Augustine. They fell 7-5. Before that, they had a 5-game winning streak from February 27th all the way down to March 11th, and they have had a very decent season thus far. Only 4 losses to 10 wins, 6-2 at home, 4-2 on the road. This will be their first neutral site game of the season. Going over on the other side to Martin County, they are 10-2 to start the season. Their last loss was against Merritt Island on March 6th, but they have had back-to-back wins, one against Benjamin on March 10th, and Dr. Joaquin Garcia on March 13th, scoring 5 runs in each of those games. Only had 1 extra innings game, and that was on February 26th against Avon Park, in which they won 1-0 in the 8th inning. First full count of the game for the first batter of the game, and that'll go down as a walk. There for Martin County to start things off, that is John Thornton. So first batter faced, first to take a base. That rhymed, but anyway. It's the first time these two teams have faced off since, got to go all the way back to March 18th of 2019. Martin County took the victory 6-0. Trying to do the same here. That is a missed on the fielding there by the second baseman. Throw over to first is mishandled. So it went from out at first, runner at second, to runners at the corners.
Right now, the catcher number 8, Colton Betancourt.
So that'll bring up the catcher, Colton Betancourt. Now, granted, we mentioned yesterday in our lone game we got to see the elements will play a factor. Yesterday, just your typical Florida weather day, 70s, trying to hit up into the 80s. Today, first pitch, 47 degrees. And that's a missed potential catch. They'll throw that to second for out number 1, but the run from third gets home safely. So 1-0 Martin County. And we're going to have a courtesy runner at first base for the catcher. That's number 15 of, I believe you pronounce it, Lennox Janke. So Janke will stand at first base. 1 away for Martin County. So they did make the mistake in fielding, but we're still able to get 1 out. But the run from third able to scurry home. They'll check the runner at first. And he is safe. On the mound today for Deltona is number 51. And they check the runner again. Kind of mishandled the throw over to first base. Mason Draper is on the mound today for Deltona. Draper comes in. This is his 6th appearance, and that's going to be a hit by pitch. So the batter will trek his way down to first base.
At the plate, the right fielder, Brady Messner.
So Brady Messner will come up to the plate. So runners at first and second, still only one out. No registered hits here for Martin County. We've had a walk, a hit by pitch, and a fielder's choice. That'll fall down as a foul. And then, of course, you had the fielding / throwing error on Deltona. But for Draper, this is his 6th appearance this season. He's 2-0 as a starter as that ball gets launched into. That's going to fall in between the two guys out in the outfield, and the bases are now loaded. Wow. And the wind today is blowing mostly towards right field. So that'll go down as a hit. So the first hit for Martin County, bases loaded, still only one out. So again, if you're Deltona, you have the option to play the double play opportunity. And that'll drop for a base hit. One run comes home, and that'll make it 2-0. Bases still loaded. That is the Lennox Janke coming home from third. And it's 2-0 Martin County. And that's a swing and a miss for strike one. Preston Sullivan, the designated hitter, at the plate for Martin County. Excuse me. And he'll see that one low and just a bit outside for ball one. As if you can hear in the background, the car alarm has gone off again. Oh, they got it. That one makes it in the strike zone for strike two. And as I mentioned, we'll see how much the elements play a factor into games today. It's only supposed to get up to a high of 59, according to the weather report here in Sanford. But no matter what state you're in, usually the same theme runs true. It wouldn't be that bad if it wasn't for the wind. That pitch outside, good move there by the catcher to keep that from getting away. That brings up a full count. Catcher for Deltona is Mario Vega, number 12. That is high and outside for ball four. So another run will come home for Martin County. So that brings in number 13 of Bryson Payne. And it's now 3-0 Martin County. And for the first time today, we will see Frankie Brancaleone, the second baseman, with bases loaded. Still only one out here for Deltona. That is outside, but strike. That made its way in the strike zone here. Bring up the 0-2. That has a chance to fall, and it does. One run comes home. A second run is going to come home. So that'll be a 2-run RBI single for Brancaleone. And Martin County fired up in the dugout there, and they lead 5-0.
Center fielder, Stone Preston.
And this will bring up Stone Preston with 2 runners on and 1 out. And I think, yeah, he got hit. So that'll load the bases once more.
Left fielder, John Thornton.
So that'll bring up the left fielder, John Thornton, who is in his second at-bat. And we're still in the first inning. And each of these teams in this tournament get 4 games, but the main thing to do is basically win, and it gives you a chance to play for the Classic Tournament Championship, as we'll have our first mound visit. We'll take a quick break. This is FloridaLeagueTournaments.com on Varsity Sports Nation. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation. No pitching change. Still keeping the same pitcher here for Deltona. As we had our first mound visit just a few moments ago, Austin Goss came out to talk to his man Draper. Allow him to settle in here. Again, not ideal to start a game, but it's kind of how baseball is sometimes. The bats are hot, sometimes mistakes come into it, or sometimes you got games where it's a pitcher's duel and nobody scores till late in the game. And that bounces off the catcher, and a run's going to come home. The throw to the pitcher is dropped, and that's another Tigers run that comes home from third. That was Preston Sullivan that came in. It wasn't even a wild pitch. It just was mishandled by the catcher. And that makes it 6-0 Martin County. So 0-1 is the count. Runners on second and third now. Swing and a miss. Brings up strike 2 for Thornton. And that is down the middle but low. And brings up ball one. This Martin County squad has a doubleheader to start the day. That'll be fielded over to first for out number 2, keeping the runners at second and third. But this Martin County squad will have 2 games today. At 1:30, they will turn around and play Eustis. At 4 o'clock, we'll have Seminole and IMG Silver. And IMG Silver also has a doubleheader. They were supposed to play Flagler Palm Coast yesterday, but that game got rescheduled for tonight at 6:30. That will sneak its way up to the second baseman, throw to first, and runner is out, but not before Martin County puts up 6 runs in the first inning. Deltona has got some work to do when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. We'll see what they're able to do. Bottom first, coming up next. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation. Yeah, if you're looking at that score bug, you've read it correctly. It is 6-0 Martin County over Deltona. And it came down to walks, hit by pitches, some missed balls while fielding. It was a whole lot of everything in that first inning. But Deltona will have their chance to answer here in the bottom of the first, down 6-0. Once again, my name is Conrad Volch. Here in the land of Sanford, Florida, is that pitch taken for strike 1. As number 7, Jaden Luciano will bat for the Wolves. Send that up to the second baseman, toss over to first, and that is out number 1. So first batter face, that is a ground out to start things off. And this brings up number 5, Noah Lociato. And that gets fouled back for strike 1. But again, this Deltona team already having a great season to start. They had 10 total wins last year. They've got 10 wins already. And they finished last season 10-15, and they're already 10-4. That falls in for ball 2. This is the second season for Austin Goss. And sometimes, that first season, no matter what league you're in or what level you're at, is, trying to establish some habits, trying to establish, whatever you got. And then sometimes by the second or third season, you start to get things rolling. But you go through some growing pains and some figuring things out, and sometimes that's just the way it goes. But to go from 10 total wins a season ago to already 10 wins in the month of March, it's kudos to the coaching staff here, and that's going to get away from the catcher. And that'll put a man at first base.
At the plate, the first baseman, number 23, Eliel Rosado.
Eliel Rosado steps to the plate in that 23 jersey. Yeah, despite going 10-15 last year, like I said, 10 wins already. This Austin Goss comes in. He was at Spruce Creek and was part of 2 region titles at the beginning of the 2020s. And Deltona, despite their record, made it all the way to the district championship game. But it's, you look at the sport of baseball at all levels, getting hot at the right time is a thing. And, just because you won a bunch of games in the earlier months, if you can't keep that same spark down the line, if you look at Major League Baseball, when they talk about, October, well, you got to start building things in spring training and opening day and, down towards the end of the season. And see so many teams that have promise but flame out towards the end of the year. But that's why we love sports. It's fun, it sucks, and it makes no sense all at the same time. But that's why we love it. 3-1. And that's strike 2. As Rosado thought that was a walk for ball 4. And that one is ball 4. So runners on first and second, 1 out here.
Seven to the plate, the designated hitter, number 9, Eric Cunningham.
So this brings up the designated hitter, Eric Cunningham, for the first time today. So runners on first and second, double play can be made if you're Martin County. But if you're Martin County, 6 runs is great, but you also have to capitalize it on defense as well. You don't want to give any sort of hope to this Wolves squad, as that is high and inside, but makes it in the zone for strike 1. And trying to get the runner at second. Just barely missed him. One count. Still trying to bait the runner back there. That will get through the defense, and Deltona trying to round the base. And close, and he gets home as the ball gets away. That was mishandled there by the left fielder. That split-second delay on the ball allowed the runner to get home, and it's 6-1.
At the plate, the third baseman, Jesus Marrero.
This brings up Jesus Marrero. Still only one out here for Deltona. That falls in for ball one. And we're going to have a mound visit. Landon Del Tufo. A little bit of a shaky start, but we'll see what comes out of this visit when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation. Both teams have had a mound visit here in this inning. Head coach Brett Hawkins had to go out and talk to his pitcher, Landon Del Tufo. Del Tufo came into this game 5-0 as a starter. This is his sixth appearance. .32 ERA coming into this game. Second best on the team is Sullivan with .88. But sometimes when you come into a game like this where it's a little bit colder, there's wind and there's uncertainty, it does play a factor sometimes. But good coaches, good managers, whatever league you're in, they know when to either pull a plug or go and have a conversation and see what comes out of this as that goes straight back to the catcher. Mishandled there. We've seen some mishandling on both sides behind the plate. But first game of the day, you know, trying to shake off some rust, maybe some whatever was going on last night. The 2-2. That will fall for in play. The throwback to first is in time. So that'll move the runners down to second and third, this time with two out. Martin County has a chance to get out of this, only giving up a run. But they're going to have to go against Matthew McCoy. And that'll go straight in for strike one. McCoy, 208 batting average this year. 5 hits, 4 RBIs this year. Sitting at a 1-1 count here in the bottom of the first. Wow. Just dipped in at last second for strike 2. The pitch from Deltona. It's in! Struck him out! So after a shaky start to the inning and one mound visit later, wasn't pretty, but they only allowed 1 run. We've seen 7 runs through 1 full inning, and we've got a whole lot of game left. Can't wait to bring you the action when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation. 6-1 is your score as we enter now the top of the second. Colton Betancourt will lead things off for his second plate appearance of the day. In his last at bat, he hit into a fielder's choice in that first inning. He'll bat this one foul to bring it up 1-1. Betancourt hit .394 this season. Has a home run to his name. That'll get hit back to the pitcher. Pitcher dropped it for a second, but it'll get tossed over to first for out number 1. That bounced, wasn't ideal, but it bounced perfectly straight down in front of Draper versus going off the mound or having to chase it. And Draper starting to feel it here after that shaky first inning. Again, game is far from over here for Deltona, but if you want to give yourself a chance, you got to limit the number of runs, but also score some runs. That foul bounces off the roof of the stadium. It's funny, some roofs at some stadiums have that old metal roof, so when that ball hits it, it is a loud bang. But Sanford Memorial's been refurbished and upgraded a few different places. Still has that old style look from back when it was used as a spring training facility. As back-to-back batters have been retired here in the top of the second for Martin County.
At the plate, the right fielder, Grady
As Grady Messner, the right fielder, comes to the plate. He is 1 for 1 with a single. And Draper really starting to settle in here, as that will be hit up to the shortstop, and a little different than the first inning. This time 3 up, 3 down. No offense really established here for Martin County in this inning, but sometimes that's okay. For Deltona, still a lot of work to do, but they got coming up. They got Cologne, Vega, and Thompson when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation. Bottom of the second here between Martin County and Deltona. Jaden Cologne batting for the first time today.
Hey, Steve, what's up? Good. Yes.
And if you tuned in to the World Baseball Classic last night, you know that the field is set for the championship, as that'll get laid down for a single. In Venezuela, got their first berth into the World Baseball Classic Championship last night, part of 3 runs in the 7th inning against Italy. And it looked like we were going to have a Italy-USA rematch from back in pool play. But United States will go to the championship for the 3rd straight time. They won it back in 2017. Lost last time against Japan. Again, everybody remembers Shohei Ohtani pitching against Mike Trout. That'll drop in for a strike. But they will face off against Venezuela. Venezuela going there for the first time. USA going there for the 3rd straight time. Swing and a miss, strike 2 here for Mario Vega. And they check the runner back at first, trying to keep Cologne back there. And that is a good hit, but foul. Had a good arc on it. Keeps it at 0-2. That's the home plate umpire calling for some baseballs from the Deltona dugout. It's outside. Ball 1. Inside, ball 2. This game is a Pool B game. In Pool B and Pool C, that is going to fall in for a strikeout. Strikeout looking for the catcher. And this will bring up Tavon Thompson
Right fielder, Tavon Thompson.
with one away. But Pool B and Pool C each have 3 teams. Pool A and Pool D have 4. And we'll have back-to-back Pool B games to start the day here at Sanford Memorial Stadium. Martin County playing Deltona now and Eustis coming up at around 1:30. And then that'll be followed up by Seminole and IMG Silver, and then IMG Silver will turn around and play Flagler Palm Coast. That'll be a couple Pool D games. Again, after the weather decided to play around yesterday and had to reschedule a few games. Some games are played at Lyman High School today. A lot of them are here in Sanford, but got games at Lyman and Lake Mineola today. And then Wednesday will be the longer day here at Sanford Memorial. There'll be 5 games slated for here. Oh, they caught the runner in a rundown. They throw down to second, not in time. Well, it was in time, but it was mishandled. And that'll move a runner into scoring position for Deltona. So 2 balls and 1 strike here. Runner on second, still only 1 out here for Deltona. Down the middle, strike 2. But going on in about 45 minutes, Western will be taking on Apopka at Lyman, followed by Lyman and Dr. Phillips. And that'll go down as a strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts here. And we'll head back to the top of the order. Braden Thorne, he's 0 for 1 with a ground out. And Martin County trying to stifle whatever type of offense is trying to be started here by Deltona. As Thorne will call for time. And they're going to say he swung for strike. Just barely, but they say he swung. That'll be swing and a miss, strike 2. Again, 7 combined runs scored in that first inning. So far, 0 right now. And Deltona has the man on second. Catcher tries to frame the pitch, but ump says no. Thought we were going to see our 3rd straight strikeout there. Runner goes down to third. It's going to be popped up into the air and off the roof. Foul ball. 1-2, or no, wait. Time was called last second. It's always tough because Landon Del Tufo was already in his windup. And that'll be dropped for ball 2. So Thorne hanging in there. The 2-2. That one's high, making it a full count. Del Tufo trying to bait the batter, but the batter said, I don't think so. So after being down 0-2, it's now 3-2. And he got him! 3 straight strikeouts after a leadoff single. And the score remains 6-1. This is going to turn into a very entertaining affair. Third inning coming up next as we got Moody, Sullivan, and Brancaleone when we return. Third inning action here between Deltona and Martin County. Zane Moody to lead things off, trying to sneak in a bunt there. But does not. Moody 1 for 1 on the day with a single back in that first inning. See that outside for ball 1. In tale of 2 innings here for Draper. And again, had that shaky first inning. 6 runs got home for Martin County. Then it was a 3-up, 3-down inning back in the second. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes here for Moody. But both pitchers really starting to settle in now, which is a good thing if you're Martin County. It's not a great thing if you're Deltona. Because if you're Deltona, you need Draper to do what he does best, but you also need the bats to start to wake up as well. And a swing and a miss. That'll be a strikeout swinging to start the inning. So combined, since that bottom of the second, this is our 4th straight strikeout we've seen between the 2 teams. As Preston Sullivan, the designated hitter, comes to the plate. Second plate appearance of the day as he fouls that one off. Reached base last time by a walk, also scored a run. It's outside, ball one. And swing and a miss, strike two. And if you're just joining us, the Deltona's got one run off one hit and one committed error. Martin County's got 6 runs off just 3 hits. In that first inning was a runs galore if you're Martin County. Not a lot of guys on base by virtue of walks or hit by pitches. Also had some fielding issues as well for the Deltona defense, and that looked painful. That's going to be a hit by pitch. Looked like it caught Mr. Sullivan in the leg. So that's the second time he's reached base today. And this brings up Frankie Brancaleone for the second time. Again, his last at bat, he had a 2-run RBI single. And still one away here for Martin County. That'll drop in for strike one. And trying to keep the runner in check at first, and he is very much safe. That'll even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. And wind still blowing towards right field today. Another check down to first. If you want even more baseball tonight, after the conclusion of day 2 of the Classic Tournament here in Sanford, World Baseball Classic Championship tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. In Venezuela going there for the first time. U.S. going there for the 3rd straight time. And can't get enough baseball. So might as well check in after the conclusion we get done here. That is sent up in shallow right, and that'll be caught for out number 2. Good fielding there by the Deltona defense. Thompson went flying so fast to catch that his hat flew off. And Stone Preston will come to the plate. Oh for 1 with a ground out in his last appearance. On deck is John Thornton. As that is fouled off for strike 1. And that gets smacked high into the air. And it's dropped. Wow. So the pitcher was pointing at it. Oh, the runner gets home. Oh my goodness! So after all that confusion, Preston Sullivan says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and go home now. Unbelievable. You had the pitcher pointing at the ball. You had three guys come in, including the catcher, trying to figure out who was going to catch it. The catcher mishandled it. And the runner on base says, you know what? Take this peace sign. I'm going home. So it's back to a 6-run game as that gets sent into center field, and that was a athletic catch to end the inning. Or to end the top of the inning, excuse me. So, mistakes continuing to plague Deltona here, at least they were able to only give up a run in the top of the third. Entertaining, just a little bit. We'll bring you some more when we return. Bottom third coming up here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back into FloridaLeagueTournaments.com here on Varsity Sports Nation. It's been an entertaining game, and that will be ground out at first. So 1 pitch, 1 out here for the Martin County defense. So that brings up Eliel Rosado. And going back to that top of the third, just an insane sequence. Again, you had what you thought was going to be the top half of the inning out, but it was trying to be retrieved by the catcher, who technically shouldn't have even been in that position. Had a couple guys out there that didn't call for it, and then when it was all said and done, the runner was able to get to third, and then he said, you know what, I'm going to go home, and that's what put us at 7-1 right now. And still only 4 hits for Martin County. 1 ball, 2 strikes here. We're starting to see the passion come alive here from Austin Goss. And some of that wanting to see his team do well. Some of it's a little bit of frustration with some mental errors. But again, still a lot of game left, and that's going to drop in for a strikeout. That's the
At the plate, number
fourth
Cunningham.
strikeout tossed here for Landon Deltufo, as that brings Eric Cunningham to the plate with 2 away. Falls in for ball 1. Not to change sports too fast here, but if you're a Broncos fan, they just acquired Dolphins wide receiver Jalen Waddle. They acquired Waddle and a 4th-round pick in exchange for a 1st, a 3rd, and a 4th. So, look out, AFC West. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Again, it looked like Deltona was going to at least make a huge dent in this deficit in the bottom of the first, but after one mound visit to Deltufo, he really has settled in. That comes in for strike 2, full count. But it's like I was saying back in that first inning, sometimes one mound visit is all it takes for some guys. And that will be fallen fair. Throw to first is going to be close, but it's out. Great play there by the third baseman. And that is how the third inning will conclude. Wow. So 7-1 is your score. Whole new inning coming up next. We got you the 4th when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back into FloridaLeagueTournaments.com here on Varsity Sports Nation. Got some infield change here for the Wolves. Now standing over at third base is number 99, Blake Jones. And leading us off is Brennan Jones, as he sends that one sky high into the air. It's going to go into foul territory. So a break there for both teams as the Wolves were unable to make the catch. But it'll be strike 1 here. At third base, I mentioned Blake Jones just came in. This is his 8th game he's appeared in this season. He's got a 500 fielding percentage. But Coach Goss obviously wanted to make some adjustments here in the mid to late stages of the game, as that's going to be fielded there, and that's going to go down as a base hit to start the inning.
At the plate, the catcher,
So the fielding was there, but just got kind of caught between the dirt and the grass there in shallow right center. And I guess didn't have quite enough time to boost himself up to throw it to first, so they'll allow the hit to get registered there. It's taken high for ball 2. Betancourt still looking for his first hit. He's had a fielder's choice and a ground out so far today, as that is into shallow. Oh, it's mishandled. But they're going to register it as an out anyway, as it was determined that the ball came out when he was attempting to throw it. So another huge break for this Deltona defense. As Bryson Payne sees that one in for ball 1. Again, coming up next on our game 2 of 4 here at Sanford Memorial Stadium, this same Martin County squad will take on Eustis. The 2 doubleheaders here today, as Martin County playing 2 and IMG Silver playing 2. As that is spearheaded up into the air and will be caught in shallow left for out number 2. In good command of the outfield there. Looked like that was if I had to guess the number, it's hard to see from all the way in the press box, but I think that was number 8 of Angel Placencia. Again, some of these, the mix of the dark blue and the black is hard to see from a distance. But we'll give you the update once this top of the inning ends. As Grady Messner, that pitch is high and goes into shallow, and we've got a player down at second base for Deltona. We'll step aside as he gets attended to. We'll be right back. Welcome back here to Varsity Sports Nation. Ray Vargas, who was the man down for a spell, looks to be okay. That was a swing and a miss for strike 2. The 0-2, swing and a miss. I know they're going to say it was a foul tip.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a broken line, I think. I haven't been down there yet, but that's what she told me.
Runner goes down to third, swing and a miss. And that is how the top of the fourth will end. Still 7-1. Deltona due up next. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation. Bottom of the fourth here. Deltona still down by 6. As sporting the red helmets. Batting for Deltona is Jesus Marrero. Again, Deltona made some changes in their infield and outfield.
Yeah, you can. That's just in the stadium. Yeah, I don't know what the setup is over there. All right, thanks.
So 2 balls, 1 strike. Outside, ball 3. And that was high and inside, ball 4. And this will bring in number 1, Ray Vargas, who again had that little, not scary moment, but hold your breath moment in that last top of the inning. Takes that first pitch for strike 1. And count is now even. Vargas comes in averaging .250 this year with 5 hits and a home run. Watch that drop in for strike 2. Vargas and Noah Luciano are the only 2 Wolves so far this season with home runs. Luciano has 2. The 2-2. Like he was trying to throw a splitter pitch there. Makes it a full count. And decent outing here for Landon Del Tufo. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. 6th strikeout Tossed by Del Tufo.
At plate number 4, Jaden Cologne.
As Jaden Cologne will come up for the second time today. 1 for 1 with a single. Check the runner at first. Bryson Payne almost kind of had to lean forward to make the catch to prevent it from going towards the Deltona dugout. As that gets fouled off for strike 1. There's the Martin County bullpen starting to get active here in the bottom of the 4th, and we'll see how long Coach Hawkins keeps Del Tufo in. But again, right as I say that, throws it down the middle for strike 2. The 1-2. That is fouled off. That's low and just outside for ball 2. That's fouled off again, this time down the first base line. Again, one of the cool things about this tournament is you see the different levels of leagues get to play each other, as that is another strikeout here tossed by Del Tufo. 7th strikeout thrown this game. But this game is a 5A versus 6A matchup as Deltona lives in the 5A District 6, while Martin County lives in 6A District 8. And some teams move different district sections all the time. Some stay pretty much the same. Every once in a while you get teams that are just listed as freelance, where they're not in any particular district or league. The 2-0. Low and outside for ball 3. Mario Vega, one of 7 guys, fall into the strikeout toss by Del Tufo. Finds himself very ahead in the count, 3 balls, no strikes. And he'll take his base. This will bring in Tavon Thompson. And we'll have a runner at first, Rivers Deltona. Rivers Deltona, excuse me.
Now batting for Deltona, number 3, Tavon Thompson.
So runners at first and second. Still 2 outs here for Deltona. Again, no pitching change yet. Coach Hawkins leaving his Del Tufo out there. Swing in, a miss. You know, we see guys that maybe wear a different color helmet or have a certain color cleats. Well, Thompson's got a bright pink bat. That is outside for ball one. In October is normally Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but for some people, pink runs all times of the year to bring awareness to that. It's in for strike two. And I don't too often see anyone sporting a pink bat, so that'll definitely be definitely something cool to see. The 1-2. Swung on, gets through, and tossed over to first, and that will end the inning. So the pink bat, no match for the Martin County defense. We stay at 7-1. Fifth inning coming up next here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation here in Sanford, Florida, at historic Sanford Memorial Stadium. My name is Conrad Volch. Great to be with you here for day two of the Classic Tournament here for the Florida Collegiate Summer League High School Invitational. First pitching change we've seen today. Draper is done for the day for Deltona. The Wallace State commit. They'll put Nick Torres on the mound, the senior right-handed pitcher It's his 4th appearance this season, mostly in a relief pitcher role for this Wolves squad. First batter he's facing today is Zane Moody. He'll drop in for strike 1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Moody with 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. And that'll be a walk. So Moody in his 3rd plate appearance will reach base on a walk as we got some sirens going past us for, it's like the Sanford Fire Department, I think. So whoever's affected, we hope they're okay, as we saw an ambulance and a fire engine go by. High in the middle for ball 1. There's Preston Sullivan. With his 3rd plate appearance today, he's reached base both times. One was on a walk and a hit by pitch. He's also scored twice. Was part of that first inning galore, and then was part of the only run scored in that 3rd inning on the confusion play. Who knows? Maybe he'll reach base on a drop 3rd strike. We'll see. We'll see. Anything's possible. Runner will go down to 2nd. Throw is just out of reach of Ray Vargas's glove. And 3 balls, no strikes here. The 3-0. Blasted, is it? Oh, it's in, just inside the line. 1 run will come home. So an RBI double for Sullivan. And that brings home Zane Moody, and it's 8-1.
At the plate, second baseman Frankie Braco-Leon.
So after I was just joking about Sullivan reaching base on a potential drop 3rd strike, he'll get his first hit of the day and extends that Martin County lead to 7. As Braco-Leon comes to the plate for the 3rd time today and was responsible for that 2-run RBI single in the 1st inning. And he'll hit that down the first base line, but the base will get tapped for out number 1 as he moves Sullivan down to 3rd. As we'll have our first pinch hitter for Martin County today. This will be Wyatt Parks. He's got a runner on 3rd and only 1 out. Parks hitting .312 this year with 5 hits. 10th game he has appeared in this year. The 1-0. That is fouled off for strike 1. And this Martin County team, it always helps when you start off with a big lead they've done it as well on defense. This Deltona squad has looked like they've had a couple times to try and turn the corner and cut into this lead, but Martin County just has not been able to figure, it's kept them at bay. Also, it helps having those 7 strikeouts tossed by Del Tufo. And we'll see if his night's done for this game in the bottom of this inning, or if Coach Hawkins keeps using him. Again, the bullpen is getting warm for Martin County. The 2-2. And that is high for ball 3. But did sound like it was made contact with the bat, so that will go down as a foul, so this will not be a full count. Again, no fault of the batter. He was just trying to get out of the way. That one will be high and inside for ball 3. And that'll fall in for ball 4. So runners at the corners now for Martin County. As this will bring back the top of the order, John Thornton. As we got a runner coming out to first base, this will be number.
Running at first base, Stone Preston. At the plate, number
This will be
4,
Stone Preston
Thornton.
running at first. And that's who Parks batted for. So Parks will go to back to the bench. Preston will re-enter at first. As Thornton takes that first pitch for strike 1. Thornton, one of 5 Tigers with a home run. As the runner, Preston, runs from first down to second, so both runners now in scoring position. The 1-1. Outside, ball 2. They say he did not go. Almost did, but kept the bat behind the first baseline. That's high, but sneaks into the zone for strike 2. That'll be high and inside, ball 3. It has eclipsed 50 degrees out here in Sanford. Feels like 47 with the wind. And it's supposed to get up as high as 59 today. The first pitch for this game was about 46, 47. So that gets fouled off. Flag across the field at center field has been pretty consistent this morning into the early afternoon, blowing towards right field. As the Thornton will call time. And that gets away. It's going to be a walk anyway, and one runner will come home. Oh, the runner's still going. He's going to try and stretch it to second. He gets caught. But 2 runners come home. Make that 10-1, Martin County.
At the plate now, number 1, Brennan Jones.
As Brennan Jones will come up to the plate. So 2 outs here for the Tigers. They've got 10 runs off just 6 hits today. High and outside, ball 1. High and outside again, ball 2. And the Eustis team is here. See some of their guys sitting up in the bleachers waiting for this game to finish. And that gets fouled. And a nice little arc to it. But makes this 2 balls, 1 strike. And that is dropped. Well, falls out of the glove, I should say, of the catcher for ball 3. First multi-run game for either team since the first inning for Martin County. Scored 6 in the first, 1 in the third, and now 3 here in the 5th. And that'll go down as a walk. As Colton Betancourt will make his 4th appearance today, and we'll have a mound visit here by Deltona. Austin Goss, just him and the pitcher as he waves off his infield and his infield. We'll step aside real quick here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation. Outfield, infield, and pitching changes here for Deltona. On the mound for the first time today, number 20, Matthew McCoy. And according to Max Preps, no records of McCoy pitching this year. So this looks to be his first appearance as a pitcher all season. Again, I don't have any data on that on Max Preps, so that's what I'm going to go with. So his first batter that he'll face is number 8 of Colton Betancourt. And their last pitcher, Nicholas Torres, lasted 2/3 of an inning, which Goss had seen enough and pulled him. And 10-1 is your score. Martin County over Deltona. That goes off the end of the bat for strike 2. And coming up after this game, this same Martin County squad will take on Eustis. Martin County will move over to be the home team. Eustis will be the away team on the scoreboard. 1-2. Framed very well by the catcher. And that will end the top of the inning. 3 more runs come home for Martin County. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. 10-1 is your score. We'll be right back. Welcome back into FloridaLeagueTournaments.com here on Varsity Sports Nation here in Sanford, Florida.
Leading off for Deltona, number 6.
We are in the bottom of the 5th. Martin County leads Deltona 10-1. New pitcher in for Martin County. It's number 9 of Hunter Wilson. 6th appearance of the year, 1.83 ERA. He'll face off against number 7 of Braden Thorne. As Thorne sends this into right field, and that's caught for out number 1. So 2 pitches into his outing, and he registers an out. As Noah Locchiato comes up for his 3rd plate appearance. 0 for 1 with a ground out. That gets hit up to the shortstop. And that's out number 2. So 3 pitches into the Wilson outing and 2 retired. As we'll see the first at bat for Blake Jones this afternoon. 143 hit percentage this year. Or should I say batting average? Got my sports mixed up. Hit percentage, that's volleyball. That's okay. Oh, and 2. And that's outside, ball 1. And that'll be fouled off, keeps the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And first 2 batters got retired in 3 pitches. Wilson trying to get on base. That will go right to the first baseman, and a very fast bottom of the 5th. We'll go to the 6th. Martin County leads 10-1 here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation. Top of the 6th action here between Martin County and Deltona. Conrad Volch here with you on the call. Bryson Payne comes to the plate. 3rd plate appearance of the day. Again, as I mentioned yesterday, one of the great things about this tournament is we get to highlight where these guys are going to college, should they be committed somewhere. As Payne sees that come in for ball one. Bryson Payne staying local to Florida, going to UCF. Preston Sullivan will be going to Air Force. Hunter Wilson, who was just in last inning in relief for Del Tufo, is going to Brevard College. And Grady Messner going to Eastern Florida. As that stays alive, just bouncing, dancing along that line to stay fair. And that's out number one.
At the plate, number 21, Grady Messner.
And just mentioned his name just a moment ago, but Grady Messner, the Eastern Florida commit, will step to the plate with one away. That goes down the middle for strike one. And we saw some moments throughout this game where both pitchers really started feeling it. Saw that dominate from about the second inning to about the top of the fifth, where it was just an absolute duel. But then the runs started piling up again for Martin County. And that top of the fifth. So 2 pitching changes for Deltona last inning. As Messner sees the 2-1 pitch inside for ball 3. Wind is still blowing towards right field. And that's up and inside for ball 4. And this will bring to the plate number 5, Zane Moody. Moody has had a eventful day. Single, strikeout, walk. He's got a man on with 1 out. And sees that go outside for ball 1. Outside again for ball 2. McCoy trying to bait the batter into swinging, but Moody said, no thanks. So McCoy said, all right, watch this. That goes down the middle for strike 1. McCoy didn't like what he was seeing, decides to step off the mound just for a second to collect his thoughts. And we'll chuck it over to first. Team from Eustis still looking on in the stands as they will be taking on Martin County after the conclusion of this game. Oh my goodness! Does that count for 2? Yes, it does! What a play from the first baseman. So he caught the ball, and all he had to do was turn around and tap first, and that's a double play. That is how the top of the 6th will end. That was entertaining. That's why we love sports. Deltona will be due up when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Bottom of the sixth action here in game 1 of 4 here at historic Sanford Memorial Stadium. Had a unassisted double play to end the top of the sixth. And first baseman caught it out of the air and turned around and stepped on first, and that is how that inning ended, or the top of the half of the inning ended. Hunter Wilson came in top of last inning. Faced three batters, retired all 3 of them. As Cunningham swings at that and misses. And Hunter Wilson, one of 4 Martin County Tigers that have homes after the conclusion of their high school careers. He'll be going to Brevard College. It's always encouraging to see high school athletes find homes afterwards to continue their sports career and also get an education on top of it. Oh, beautifully framed by the catcher. And Cunningham goes down looking.
At the plate, number 2, Jesus Marrero.
Between the Martin County, now I got Brevard on my mind. Between both Martin County pitchers, that is, let me count this up real fast, 8 strikeouts combined. And that flies in for strike 1. And it helps having a 9-run lead when you're a reliever to come in, but nonetheless, to stay focused and to just do your job and throw some strikes, as that was some good defense there, as the first baseman for Martin County, Bryson Payne, had to lean forward to grab that one. And Payne, going to UCF after high school. So now with 2 away. Oh, that gets past the third baseman, so that'll put a runner on first. That was the pitcher who had that one.
At the plate, number 4, Jaden Cologne.
So Matthew McCoy gets on base. So just the second hit for Deltona all day. And third baseman for Martin County, just a tad bit out of position there. That'll continue the 6th inning here. And Deltona trailed for this entire game. They scored a run bottom of the first to cut the lead back to 5. It's been all Martin County this game. Ooh, that looked painful. Goes off the lower back there for Jaden Cologne. And that'll put 2 runners on for Deltona. Hit right in the lower back region where your back kind of indents, I guess. And it pops straight up into the air. But Cologne looks like he's okay. Just talking to the first base coach. It looks like they're going to have a runner come in at first. We don't know who the runner is because he's got his hoodie on still. Oh, there we go. Give you a number in just a second here. Number 21 of Kyle Goodpaster. So runners on first and second, still 2 outs here for Deltona. Also, his last name might be Goodpaster. I don't know, but interesting name. That's the cool thing about baseball is you get a variety of different names that come together. That is fouled off the end of the bat for Vega. Strike 1. Like yesterday in the Seminole St. Cloud game, we had runner. Now we've got Goodpaster at first. So if he steals second, did he steal second or did he paste his way to second? And there we go. I don't know. Got to have at least one bad dad joke per game, I guess. I don't know. Or at least for the day. The 1-2. High and just a tad outside for ball 2. So 2's all across the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Also 2 runners on. And just outside, full count. And nobody in the bullpen here for Martin County. So Coach Hawkins, unless something crazy happens, is more than likely going to go with Wilson for the remainder of this game. Runners go. And he got him. Strikeout looking. 9th strikeout combined between Del Tufo and Wilson. That's the end of the 6th. We go to the 7th. Martin County batting when we return. Welcome back into FloridaLeagueTournaments.com here on Varsity Sports Nation. Seventh and final inning, pending some crazy stuff here in game 1 of 4 for day 2 of the Classic Tournament for the FCSL High School Invitational. New pitcher and pinch hitter on the mound for the Wolves. Number 99, Blake Jones, came in a few innings ago at third base. Jones has also not pitched this year, so this is his first outing as a pitcher. Also got a pinch hitter for Martin County. This is Zach Stern. And that will be hit up into the air. Playable, I think. No, that goes into the parking lot. The way the first baseman and catcher played it looked like it was playable. But Zach Stern getting his chance today. 8th game he's appeared in. 167 batting average with 3 hits, a couple of those being doubles and an RBI this year. The 2-2. Low for ball 3. Again, coming up after this game, Martin County will stay here. They'll move to the home team on the scoreboard. They'll take on Eustis. Got 2 doubleheaders here. And Stern grounds it short down to third base and thrown over to first. And he is retired. Here's another one. You always see it on a t-shirt for a retired person. Retired, but not too tired. Get it? Because, anyway. One runner retired here for Martin County. As we got another pinch hitter situation, Spencer Preston batting for the first time today. Full name Spencer Preston III. 12th game he's appeared in this year. Just his 4th plate appearance. Has 7 runs scored to his name, so mostly used as a runner. Finds himself in a 1-2 hole here. And that is outside, ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So back-to-back runners retired here since Blake Jones took the mound. Swing and a miss here for Stone Preston. And that one framed there by the catcher, but just outside. Mario Vega tried to sell it. Umpire was not buying on that. Bounces in the dirt on the way to Vega this time. 2 balls, 1 strike. And that one was high and inside. Preston had to duck out of the way of that one. And that'll be a walk. So Mr. Preston will reach base. Scored a run in the 5th inning. Of course, he re-entered on that. And we'll have another new batter today. This will be number 15 of Lennox Janke. And that will drop in for ball 1. Janke, junior, hitting .333. Just his 6th plate appearance this season. He's got 5 scored runs and 1 hit. As that comes in for strike 1. And that'll be sent up into the air. Looks to be playable, and it's not. Goes off the roof for foul. Keeps it 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that will get hit into right center for a base hit. That'll send Preston down to 3rd. Just his 2nd hit of the season. And this will bring Brennan Jones to the plate with runners at the corners and 2 outs. It's funny what teams do sometimes when they've got 2 outs, especially 2 early outs in the half of an inning. It's like they get better. Or they just, some offensive boost just kind of gets going. That'll go in for ball 1. I refer it to, there's a character in Super Smash Brothers called Lucario, and when you're dueling on a stage, usually you gotta deliver about 300 to 400% damage to a character. Well, with Lucario, he gets stronger the more damage he takes. So for some teams, if they get into a 2-out situation where your back's against the wall, so to speak, then they just, it's almost like when pressure should be switched up, it's almost like the pressure's off, because it's like, well, I can either ground out and be out, or I can just let it fly and see what happens. And that's kind of what happens sometimes. That is outside, ball 2. The 2-2. Swung on into center, and it's caught for out number 3. But Martin County able to get 2 men aboard, but cannot bring anybody home. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Deltona, a lot of work to do. We'll see what they do. Coming up next here on Varsity Sports Nation. Bottom of the 7th here between Deltona and Martin County. Leading us off for the Wolves is number 6 of Del Don. And he'll see that first pitch come in for ball 1. Long way to go if you're Deltona here, but for all intents and purposes, they need 9 to continue, 10 to win it. And that was almost a circus catch there in shallow center, but instead the ball comes out last second, and that'll put a runner on first base. And the Deltona dugout loving that, as that'll put Braden Thorne up to bat. Just the 3rd hit for Deltona all day, as that is fouled off. Oh, wow, how about that? I don't know if that camera caught that, but the ball hit off the one little space in the stadium where there's no netting, went straight down, and then trickled its way and snuck into the little space that's in the Deltona dugout. This one bounces off the mound and goes into center field, and that'll put 2 runners on. How about this to start the bottom of the 7th? So Deltona doubling their hit total in this 7th inning. They'll have 2 runners on, still nobody out. It's low and outside, ball 1. Luciano. Fourth plate appearance. Got on his first at bat on a walk, has had a couple ground outs since then. And trying to get somebody home for the first time since the first inning. Outside, ball 2. They'll throw it down to first, and not in time. Three balls, 1 strike. And we said Coach Hawkins, unless something wild happened, was going to continue with his relief pitcher, Hunter Wilson. Again, still nobody warming up down there. Looks like he's going to trust him for the rest of this inning as that is sent into right field. Caught for 1. They're going to try and throw it down to, looked like they were going to try and throw it to third, but it was cut off there by the shortstop.
At plate number 99, Blake Jones.
So runners at the corners. Blake Jones steps up to the plate with 1 away. And that framed, just made it on the side of the strike zone for strike 1. That swung on, fouled off. Made its way over to the Martin County dugout for strike 2. Again, runners at the corners. Still one out here for Deltona. Swung on and fouled off. Look out below if you're Eustis. Kind of hanging out down in the foul territory. Not in foul territory, obviously, but down by the fences there as they're warming up. That's who Martin County will be taking on after this game. Swung on, just made enough contact to foul it off. Runner goes from first to second, but will have to go back. That is fouled off again. The 0-2. Outside, ball 1. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. 9th strikeout tossed by Tigers pitchers today.
At the plate now, number 9, Eric Cunningham.
Deltona down to their last out. Cunningham, responsible for the only run scored for Deltona. That was back in the first inning. Since then, he has grounded out and struck out. He's got runners at the corners with 2 out. Swung on and missed. Swung on and missed again. And Cunningham, you can tell, wants to get as much of that ball as he can. There's no connection there. Wilson trying to end this here and now. The 0-2. Just fouled. So Cunningham able to make connection with the ball, but not enough to put it in play. Runners going. Fouled off again. Fouled off once more. So swung and missed on the first 2 pitches, has made connections on the last 3. Still the 0-2. Connection is made, and the catch is made by the shortstop. And that is how the game will end. Final score for game 1 of day 2. Martin County 10, Deltona 1. 9 strikeouts tossed by Martin County pitchers, along with a 6-run first inning. What a performance by the Tigers. Well, that's one game down. We've got 3 more to go. Coming up in about 30 to 40 minutes, this same Martin County squad will be taking on Eustis at around 1:30, 1:35. We'll see you then. Game 2 coming up as Martin County moves to 11-2 and Deltona falls to 10-5. This has been game 1 of the FCSL Classic High School Invitational here in Sanford, Florida. Game 2 coming up in about 30 to 40 minutes here on Varsity Sports Nation.